Fellas, do me a favor. Don't mince my words up. Don't switch. But if you do, marry for class. Straight up. If you do, marry for class. I'm gonna keep Coach Greg Adams' marriage wheel graphic up on the screen real quick while I do this. You know, what we all too often do as black men is we date and marry down. We never really thought of the concept like that. You know, we do construction. We make 50 an hour. We make 100,000 a year, and we'll date a girl at McDonald's or White Castles or working at Target. Or you see these NBA, NFL players who make 20 million a year or got $100 million contracts, and they marry Instagram models. What the fuck is that? An Instagram model is basically a chick that takes pictures of herself in the house and posts them on social media. And then she quits when she marries you because she married up. And then when she gets used to that certain lifestyle, she has the expectation of keeping it. So if you break up, you're fucked up. So now the secret's out. Hypergamy, right, is the standard operating procedure of women. That's the standard SOP. Marry up. Hypergamy. Women are only marrying men of means. And I say, fellas, what's good for the goose is definitely good for the gander, right? You know what I mean? Stop confusing love with lust. We're thinking with our little head. That's what the problem is. We're falling in lust, not love. Women are falling in love with resources and security, but we fall in love with a cute face or a big butt. Fat ass is not sound reasoning for matrimony, fellas. Because once that wall approaches, so is that ass in them looks. And fellas, education isn't necessarily class either. No, it's not. You know, I have a high school diploma, 4 years in the Army, and I make more money than most of the master degree holding women in my family. So you can and probably do out earn most of the women around you, even those with a higher education. Higher education isn't more money necessarily and doesn't translate to workforce experience. There's a lot of women out here who hold master's degrees that do not work in their field. So the degree doesn't reciprocate in the yearly annual salary. So an electrician or a plumber or a carpenter, or if you own a couple of barbershops, you can make 100K, 200K, 300K plus independently. On O'Shea's channel this week, he did an episode, right, about a man that sells oranges. He sold oranges to get his wife to law school. And now that she's a lawyer, she's leaving him.
That's fucked up.
Nice guy, good man. You know? But nice guys and good men finish last.
All the time.
That's why I'm a piece of shit. And I always will be. And I'm not going to get fucked over. Now, he's wasted his time,
money,
his energy, the sweat equity he put into her, all his resources, only to be replaced because of what?
Class.
Class. Now she wants a lawyer or a doctor type. So he's now a class casualty, right? Because he was in love. Y'all even know the definition to the word love? That's another episode. I'll break that down later. But you motherfuckers is funny. I see why y'all all getting taken to the cleaners, man. Yeah, this is class warfare. And men are losing big time. You know, we married for chivalry's sake. We was in love. You know, we listen to our mothers about love. Find you a nice girl, loving and caring. You know, class isn't always money, man. Because you can have a woman who makes $40,000, $50,000 a year, but she comes from a two-parent household, compared to a woman from a single mother household that makes $150,000. Which woman do you think comes from a higher class of person. When we're talking class, we're talking about compatibility in a sense. Which one of these women do you think is going to be more compatible to you? The one that makes 50K a year from a two-parent household, or the one from a single mother feminist household that makes 100K a year?
Give me the 40.
You're cheating, fellas. You're taking shortcuts and you're skipping steps. 9 out of 10 times, I would only marry a woman who has a good relationship with the men in her family. So I never thought I'd get married, but I did. When I did, it was for class. I wasn't ashamed to marry for class. Though I have more money than my wife, I make more money than my wife. She's inherited more generational assets than me from a patriarchal family. So her inheritance and generational holdings match my financial earnings. Yeah, one hand washes the other, and they both wash the face. I have a wife with two sets of parents, two sets of grandparents, two grandmothers, two grandfathers. So, in the untimely event of life and death, families pass on and bequeath their worldly belongings. To who? To their kids and grandkids. This is money, this is land, this can be houses, family heirlooms, priceless jewelry, documents. So, in the event of there being an issue with me and my wife, possibly divorcing, you know, it won't take on the negative overtone of two people coming from nothing. Yes, this will mean you're looking for the proverbial needle in a haystack or the exception to the rule. I would say, don't go looking or let it come to you. We all have our own style. Some dudes ain't looking, don't give a fuck. I'm just giving you my advice. What I found out works for me. It's your choice. We're all in different situations. If marriage is not for you, fine, brothers, don't do it. But I'm just saying, giving you some advice. If you do, you marry fucking up. You understand? Not down. Not just because you like her no more. You got to be hypergamous as well, or go your own way. Make sure you marry for class. Marry up. Like I said, up isn't necessarily money. It's about marrying into a family and participating in a patriarchy. It's nothing like meeting a woman and establishing a relationship with her father, her brothers, and her uncles. That's a whole new level. See, y'all dudes is marrying just women. I married a family. My wife isn't the type to try to take everything from me. She has a big family as well. She owns land. She has her own. And unfortunately, she does know that, she is the beneficiary to maybe a half dozen wills. So she isn't desperate for a come up. A lot of men, if you marry a woman from the projects or from abject poverty, in the event of a divorce, expect her to try to take you for everything because she had nothing when you met her and she doesn't want to leave with nothing. She had no class when you met. So it's not that all of a sudden she turned classless. It's just, nigga, you was seeing her through rose colored lenses. My dudes, y'all is in struggle love relationships. Y'all niggas is having pre cum babies with winches and half-wits, crybaby colorists, and gold diggers. And they all trying to marry up and out of the hood. That's where hypergamy comes from. The 80-20 rule. And if women do it, so should we. Make sure in the dissolution of your marriage, if it happens, you stand to gain something. I know I will. So, you know, yeah, my wife tries to go anywhere, yeah, I'm taking her to the fucking cleaners. If she try to take me to the cleaners, it's set up that way. Like I told her, man, my woman's temperament and personality is fantastic. All the time I've been with my wife, like I said, never argued with her, never had power struggles. Me and my wife, we appreciate each other too much. We both provide too many things for one another. We're still useful to one another. I told my wife, if I can't utilize you, I don't need you. And you ain't going to use me. Utilize me is one thing, but to use me is another. So me and my wife, we still root for each other, man. We like to see each other win. My wife is like 12 years younger than me. So to a certain degree, she's almost still like my child. So I protect her like one. It's never a competition. I mean, if it is a competition, it's a competition for the affections. Our kids are 18 and 10, so she can have them motherfuckers. Yeah, my son already owns his own business at 18, so child support's not an issue. My 10-year-old, she gets to choose where she want to go. And I already know, with my role in their lives, that would dictate that I have the legal right to split custody, you know? Or I'll kill some fucking body. So either way, I'm not losing shit. Courts or not. That's why the vetting process is so important. You need to know what you're getting into and who you're getting into, man, before y'all just jump in the sack and start fucking having kids, trying to live together. This shit is class warfare now, fellas. There's some of us amongst us, you know, we're in a different class than others. You got to maintain that class. You come from a two-parent household. I'm not saying you can't deal with any women that don't come from two-parent households, but I'm telling you, 8 out of 10, you could throw them back. Yeah, let me get out of here. So, fellas, like I said, it's time for us to start exercising our hypergamous nature. Stop saving them. Stop screwing up with these struggle love pre-cum trap babies. Fucking up the gene pool. You get what you get. You think what you dick, you know what I mean? So, if she's natural, she probably likes herself. You know what I mean? Remember, before a woman can love or like you, she has to like herself. But that's all figured out in the vetting process, right? My wife is younger than me, half my age, plus 7. So I can't stress enough. My wife didn't have a body count either. So bonding was easy. Clean it up. Clean it up, fellas. Marry up. If she acts up, clean that bitch out. And if my wife hears this, I don't give a fuck. What's she gonna do? Divorce me? Wish that bitch would. So remember, fellas, if you do get married, like I said, if you do, marry up. Make sure that bitch got something to lose too, you know what I mean? Make sure she gonna think 2 and 3 times before she makes some stupid move. And if you've never been married before, don't tell me about my marriage. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna try to squeeze that out too this week. Why I don't want my wife to submit to me. That should be interesting. Why I don't. Okay? I gotta do something. Oh, my woman gotta submit to me. And I feel you. I mean, there's a reason why I never require my wife to submit to me. We'll get into that, break that down. So I'm out. Bunker. Like, share, subscribe, leave your comments. Those is married, those is against it. You know what I mean? Shoot holes in my theorem. Do what you gotta do. And fellas, stop complaining, man. If she wants you to be mysterious with an edge, bound to stray, and never be boring, fuck it. Give her what she wants. You know what I mean? Be daring. Introduce her to your girlfriend. I'm out.